What's good? We're here, Agent Talk Podcast. Today is Tuesday, so you already know what time it is. It is hashtag Stock Tip Tuesday. So again, shout out to Danny Magnino. Posted this on the episode yesterday. Danny is a guy at our church. Danny mentioned how he's tuned in to the Stock Tip Tuesdays, and it really does feel good when people that you know, people that you come in contact with, or that just follow me on social that are actually tuned in and paying attention. And it really makes me feel like I need to continue the mission, and continue to provide value in whatever way it may be. I posted a poll on my Instagram and asked which sector individuals wanted me to tap into, electric vehicles or marijuana. Thus far, as I'm recording this, more individuals have voted to talk on the marijuana industry. So that's what we're tapping into today. So marijuana itself. So just if anybody doesn't know, you got different forms of marijuana where we're in, and just THC itself. So it's not just, marijuana in quotes or quote unquote weed. The industry itself is now, it's expanded to a lot. You got edibles or certain teas and drinks and a lot of things that are being put forth in this industry. This is a field that, and I won't get too far into the political sector, but it's a field that, as you go through 70s, 80s, 90s, was predominantly sent a lot of black men to jail. We'll just put it like that. Sent a lot of black men to prison because of this quote unquote drug and how it's illegal and all these things. And it's just very interesting that we see as the same thing as it becomes popularized within the white community, that it becomes legalized. So that's just kind of interesting. I think it tells a little bit about the structure of America itself, and that's just neither here nor there. But with that being said, as we do start seeing the legalization of marijuana, as it continues to be accepted in our culture, in our society, by the norms, by the masses, as it starts to rid itself, I think, of some sort of perhaps the stigma that it did have. Again, going back to what, we won't even touch into that. We'll leave it there. But again, as it becomes legalized, it becomes more just open, free, things of that nature. So with that said, a few things that I want to touch on. One is in regards to investing, I have realized, you should pay attention, obviously, to what's going on in the political realm. So that'll be kind of the first thing that we'll touch on, okay? Well, and this goes into legalization. So with Biden winning, with the Democratic Party winning, the Democrats tend to tend to be liberal, meaning more of the free flowing, kind of accepting everyone and whatever it might be. With that comes marijuana legalization. Okay, so one push that I believe that we're going to see with Biden winning, with Kamala being in office as well, is we're going to start seeing a faster pace of legalization for marijuana. I want to say, let's look this up so I don't steer anybody wrong. Let's see, there is a state, I'm looking this up right now, that recently passed. Hey, I'm out here Google. That's why I got Google though. Okay. November 20th. Excuse me. November is an article by Lauren Dezinski. Thursday, November 5th, 2020. Montana, Arizona, New Jersey. What did I just say? Montana, Arizona, New Jersey, and South Dakota approve marijuana ballot measures. Okay, so we are seeing that more states are legalizing this, drug, this tool, this whatever, this plant, whatever you want to call it. So that's the first step. And again, with it being in our presidency and that being a platform that I feel they're going to push for that legalization, I believe that one, when you just look at the environment that we are about to walk into for the next 4 or 8 years from the White House, I believe we are going to see pushes for legalization of marijuana. That's me. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong. I don't know if that means on a federal level it will be legalized or on a national level. I believe for now they will continue to do it state by state. But even in that aspect, as more states continue to legalize this, industry as a whole, naturally more business is going to be brought to the table, and especially some of these companies, which we will get into. So that's one, is just the environment and the space. And I could be way off kilter, but I don't think that I am. So that's one off the top. Secondly, is when we look at the companies. So let's look at just a few companies that operate within the marijuana industry itself. Okay, so I do believe in the charts. I believe in, obviously we just kind of talked about the environment, but the main one that I'm looking at, so one we'll talk about, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not saying to invest into any of these companies, but okay, so again, based on the environment, I think we're going to have some momentum. One company I'm looking at, been in for a while, is Canopy Growth, $ CGC. Okay, so what we got, I got 7% of my portfolio in Canopy Growth right now, at least in my investment portfolio, not necessarily my savings. The past year, CGC is up 61%. So IPO, so initially came out May 24 of 2018. Okay. When CGC came out, so it popped kind of up until the 50. So $51 in September. Okay. Revisited that area kind of in April of 2019, but since then really been driven down. So right now I'm looking at the 5-year chart. So, in May of 2019, Canopy Growth is, in the high 40s, and then just really started tanking just because I think a lot of the price that it was at was invalidated. It was just kind of based off, there's a euphoria at the moment. That's one thing in regards to investing that I've realized is a lot of it is psychological. And so when a lot of these companies, it wasn't just CGC, you had a Tilray, went up to like $300. It was on an incredible run. And you had an Aurora, and there's a variety of companies. And anytime you have this newer industry and new IPOs, new releases, a lot of the times you can see companies that become inflated and overvalued. And I think that's what happened with CGC. However, when we're looking at the chart, it seems like it formed a good base. So this would be at the peak COVID. I say peak COVID, I guess maybe that's an incorrect statement to utilize or an inaccurate one. But in March of 2020, CGC got down to around $10. Okay, we're down around $10. Okay, so, but since then, it seems to be forming a base. And so right now, I'm not doing anything but going on. I'm on Robinhood, just looking at the charts. It seems like it has had a reversal. One thing I will say, so another trend to put in, or not a trend, a term to know is a reversal. What does a reversal mean? Is there a trend reversal? Up until really March 17th, there was a negative trend for CGC, looking at the chart. Since then, we have seen an uptick, and we have, I believe, seen a reversal where CGC is essentially forming a bottom on the chart. A bottom on the chart. What does that mean? It means it's formulating the bottom pricing that I believe this stock will operate at, meaning room for growth, room for upside. Okay, let's remember now, it's at $10, it's in the teens, it's been up to $50, okay? And this was the lowest it's been. I think let's see, what was the 50? Can we see the 52-year low? I don't know where that's at. I can't see it. I feel like I should be able to access that easily. Show more. Okay, 52-week low is, man, that sound is hitting. 52-week low, $9 was a 52-week low, okay? Since then, so in the last 3 months, CGC's up 45%. So up 45%, up 775 in the last 3 months, okay? Right now it's at around 24, it's at 24.70. And last month it's up 36%, okay? And last week, 4.8%, okay? So slow uptick. Recently, once Biden won the election, I made an entry into CGC. It's a company I traded in and out of for a little bit, but because of just a negative momentum that the marijuana industry had for a while, I decided to allocate my funds elsewhere. But now I am revisiting this sector. I think when we look at these prices, now we'll look at another one, could be, let's say, a Tilray, okay? CGC to me will be my number one. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I am investing in CGC. Let's look at a Tilray. So even a Tilray, now their chart is not nearly as favorable. This is not a company that I'm as high in. I think I said CGC had around 7% of my portfolio. Tilray had about 1%. So you need to also consider, every company, you see these percentages, and that's something I want to hint at. And I own a lot of companies. I own a good amount of companies, and I try to divvy them up based on my confidence level. And so Tilray, I'm really just trying to, more than anything, dip my toe in. Right now, it's at $7.17. Like I mentioned before, earlier in the year, and again, or excuse me, not earlier in the year, but in 2018. And again, I think it was completely invalidated, not valid at all. But Tilray did get up to kind of in the 300 range. So with that being said, it's still okay. Let's see. For me, it's at $7. Probably not going to drop too far down. Maybe it's okay. I only got a few dollars in here, a few shares, but if it gets up to maybe a $20, a $30, nothing over top, those are good gains. So, there's a few. I think another one would be Afaria. There's Hexo. There's so many. I would just encourage you all to do your own research. Again, for me, if there's any one that I would say I'm confident in, is I think it would be Canopy Growth, just because of how they are positioned right now. But it could be someone else. Even I talked on this before, if you are a newer investor, if you're someone that you're really just trying to, eliminate risk while potentially growing your money slowly but steadily, is I would even look at MJ. So if you look at $MJ, so let me type that in. So that is a marijuana ETF. So it's just an index fund. So an accumulation of a variety of different companies, to where, with me, if I put all my money in CGC, but it's really ACBs that's the one that takes off in this industry, well, I have no exposure to ACBs, so I'm hurting. However, if you have an ETF, which is just a collection, then if the sector as a whole does well, you do well, despite which companies are leading the pack. So that is something to keep in mind. The ETF right now in the last month, so this is a lower risk. So lower risk that I would say comparatively than just picking stocks and picking companies. Last month, the ETF is up 18%. Okay, so if your money's in the bank, your money is making 0.01%. So nothing, cents, not even cents, negligible. Okay, 18%. You cannot beat that. Last 3 months, it's up 3%. So I think it's still kind of trying to figure out its trend overall. But I would definitely check out just the industry as a whole. Doesn't mean you need to invest right now. I do think future thinking though, not even short term. I try to preach the long term. Is the next 4 years, 8 years, and even longer. I'll say this, I don't believe the marijuana industry is going anywhere. I don't think we're going to see a reversal in legislation. When you look at I compare the marijuana industry to the alcohol industry. When you see all of the numbers and all of the economics behind the alcohol industry, something that is honestly, from what I can see, from my experiences, I've tried both in the past. Not promoting either and not condemning those that do, but I think that there is a clear, I would say, difference between the risk of using alcohol versus the risk of using marijuana. You can figure out what those risks are yourself. And so for me, I think this is an industry that has a lot of upside, a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of medicinal purposes, a lot of beneficial purposes. When you see how when you extract THC and how it's able to help people with their brain function and their body function, motor function, and things of that nature. For me, as an investor, I say, okay, I think this is the future. I think this is an area that can be cultivated. This is an area that I want exposure in. Not all of my money is not in here. This is an area that I do want to have some sort of exposure in, to where if the marijuana industry does do well, then my portfolio benefits from it. So that's all I got today. Again, just trying to provide value. Doesn't mean you need to invest whatsoever, but I would do some sort of research. I think it is a good time to consider when you look at the upside versus the risk. When you look at the presidential platform and just the nature of the trend right now regarding this sector, I think it might make some sense. But that's just me. Those are my thoughts. That's all I got. Joshua Grady here. If y'all got anything, feel free to hit me. As always, if you show some love with a subscription, a 5-star review, a like, a thumbs up, a share with a friend, anything of that sort, I would greatly appreciate. Outside of that, that's all I got. We out.